Welcome to Staffworks Explained, a channel that explores the projects and other issues in different parts of the world, but with more focus on what is happening in Africa. If it's your first time here, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. If you are a repeat viewer, I thank you for the support that you have accorded this channel throughout. In today's video, we'll be talking about Bugesera International Airport project. We'll be discussing the components of the project, the takeover by the Qatar Airways, the redesigning of the airport in an attempt to make it a world-class facility, the question of Chinese company, China State Construction Engineering Corporation, and the effect that this project is expected to have once completed in the region. The government of Rwanda aims at transforming Kigali into a major tourist and business destination in the region. To achieve this, the government is constructing a new international airport, the Bugesera International Airport. Bugesera International Airport is located in southwestern Rwanda in Bugesera district near the town of Redesign. Bugesera will be the country's third international airport after Kigali International Airport, Kamembe International Airport in western Rwanda. It is located approximately 25 kilometers south of Kigali International Airport, and the development of the new project is required because the existing Kigali International Airport is unable to support the air travel needs of Rwanda due to development within the country and also ongoing economic growth. The passenger traffic at Kigali International Airport has been growing rapidly. In 2004, the airport only served approximately 135,000 passengers, but this has increased to 800,000 against its design capacity of only 400,000 passengers per year. Also, Kigali does not have space for expansion, and therefore proposal for a new airport was put forward to replace the airport and build an airport that will accommodate additional passenger traffic. It is expected that Kigali International Airport will remain operational for military purposes. The new airport project involves the construction of the airport, and we have seen it situated within the Relima and Juru sectors of the Bugesera district, which is in the eastern province of Rwanda. The airport was originally proposed to be constructed in 5 phases, with the first phase being finalized in 2020 to allow the airport to become operational. The final phase, as per the original plan, was to be completed in 2045. The project includes the development, construction, and operation of various structures and infrastructures, one of them being airport and its associated structures and infrastructure, water pipeline, a road linking the project, and also a 14.5 kilometers expressway, which is to link the airport to the North KK15 road. The airport has been redesigned. The original plan is now changed. With the initial plan, we had the investor Mota Engil being pushed out of the deal to construct the airport, and this was taken over by the Qatar Airways. Qatar Airways agreed to take over 60% stake in the new airport, and the bill has now gone up from 825 million, which was quoted by the Mota Engil, which was to do the project through the PPP model, and the now bill is $1.3 billion. According to the Rwanda's infrastructure minister, Claver Katete, the government bought back shares which were owned by the previous contractor, that is Mota Engil, but no details had been given about the actual payment that was made to the Mota Engil, which has been given the tender to construct the project through a private-public partnership. Mota Engil had entered into a PPP model agreement with the government, and it has been granted the rights to operate the airport for 25 years, and this was to help it recoup the investment of 825 US dollars million, I mean in terms of millions. And it also had in the agreement, there was an option for extension of this agreement, of this concession, this period by 15 years. However, when the government came up with a plan to redesign the Bugesera airport, Mota and Engil was not willing to do so. The company had already started constructing the airport, and as the reports which are available says, it didn't have the resources required to fully fund the redesign that was required by the government. According to the minister, Rwanda wanted a bigger sized airport, and that's why they were looking for a bigger investor, and this came in form of Qatar Airways. It is not clear how Rwanda is to finance their 60% stake in the airport construction. 60% is owned by Qatar Airways as we speak, and Rwanda owns 40% in this airport. President Paul Kagame has pointed out that Mota engine was struggling, noting that the design of Bugesera airport was all over, and that improvement in the design and quality are needed for it to be expanded. Minister Gatete clarified that Mota engine had not been removed for the project, but would continue to work on construction activity. With the Qatari investors in, the deadline for the first phase of the construction was pushed from 2020 to 2015. This due to the mandatory redesigning of the airport to accommodate more passengers, while the full completion of the project was pushed to 2032. The deal was signed in the presence of Qatari ruler Sheikh Tamim Al Thani, who had visited Kigali at that time. The name of the airport was also to be changed, and as agreed between the two governments, but the name has not yet been revealed. The airport now has a capacity of 7 million from the origin of 1 to 4 million passengers, and this is expected to be expanded to 14 million in the last phase. This is a figure which is double the size of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, the current largest international airport in the East African community. When you talk about components of the newly designed airport, you have seen that it will have a capacity to accommodate 7 million, but with an expansion to 14 million during the second phase, which is expected to be completed in 2032. The project has large gates for dignitaries and ordinary passengers, and different checkpoints and cargo terminals. With a cargo, it has a cargo area of 27,000 square meters, and at least 150,000 tons are expected to be transited through the airport per year. The facility also has a separate boarding gate for staff and a presidential terminal building which can accommodate 200 people. There's a space for vehicles of security personnel. Communication towers has also been provided. There is a parking lot which is planned to accommodate 249 vehicles, which will be built for the staff. The management will also have a parking lot for 254, and then which we can accommodate large buses. As for regular passengers, there's a parking lot for 547 cars, 249 taxi cabs, and large buses, 9 in total. There is also a 5-story building with a capacity to accommodate 820 people, which will be erected for the purposes of airport administration. The runway for this airport will be 4,500 meters. So those are some of the components that this project entails. And as we've seen, this project as the design, the original design was supposed to cost 825, but now with the expansion, the project will cost 1.3 billion US dollars. There's also the question of China State Construction Engineering Corporation. This is the company that it was rumored has been awarded the contract originally. It has been announced that the China State Construction Engineering Corporation had won the tender to build the Bugesera airport, and it had quoted a cost of 650 million. This then was to be the largest investment in Rwanda's history, and government was work with the Chinese company to raise funding from Exim Bank. Exim banks are usually concessional loans that attract low interest rates and whose repayment period is over a long period of about 20 years. In the deal with this company, the first phase of the construction was to begin in 2013 and was expected to be completed in 2017. The construction was then to have a 4.2 kilometers runway, a cargo terminal, and a passenger terminal, which had capacity to hold 1.8 million passengers annually. The government was later to deny that it had reached an agreement with China State Corporation, Engineering Corporation, SEC, to construct the modern airport. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Infrastructure, James Kamanzi, refuted media reports which indicated that the government had contracted this company to build the airport, adding that 3 companies had been shortlisted, and these included 2 from China and another one from US. The permanent secretary said that they were holding negotiations with all the shortlisted companies, but they had begun to negotiate with the Chinese company, and they were to announce the winner anytime. He revealed that the government was holding technical and financial negotiations with SEC to determine whether it met the criteria to take up the job. The permanent secretary explained that airport construction was to commence between August and September 2013, and it was expected to be completed between 2016 and 2017. So this is the first phase, or this is the first time that the airport construction has gone that far. But as we'll see, this did not happen. There are reports that talks with the Chinese company collapsed in 2013. Rwanda continued to hold talks with several other investors, including Aéroports de Lyon of France, TAV Airports, among others. The government failed to get a serious investor following the collapse of negotiations with the Chinese company. At one time, the Aéroports de Lyon CEO said that the company from France had shown some interest to build the airport, but upon analyzing, the CEO said that the current project was too big for Rwanda or the Rwandan market, and it had weak returns on investment. So the government struggled to get an investor. It is not until they settled with the Mota Engil, which was supposed to construct. But as we have seen, the company also was not successful in completion of this project, because Rwanda required that the airport be redesigned to make it bigger and to make it have a larger capacity. And when Mota Engil was not able to fund the redesign, that's when the Qatar investors came in, and as we speak, the construction is ongoing. This airport is expected to have some effect on the region aviation industry. According to analysts, once the airport is completed, it will give the major airports, that's JKIA, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Nairobi, Julius Nyerere International Airport in Dar es Salaam, Kilimanjaro, Entebbe, to give them a run for their money. The one which will be most affected is the JKIA. And analysts say that JKIA has to strategize and align itself with the development which are going on in the region, because the sector is becoming competitive, and for it to continue leading, it has to at least align itself and strategize to maintain the competitive edge as a leading aviation hub. As to the question whether the JKI will remain a major hub in the region, this will depend on its capacity to reinvent itself to maintain that competitive edge. One of the JKI's advantages is that many multinational businesses and international agencies, as well as NGOs, have their regional headquarters in Nairobi, and this gives them an edge. The $1.3 billion airport will be more than double what Kenya had planned to invest in expansion of JKIA, but the project was cancelled because of some reason. One of them is that there was no value for money, and also that it was argued that the existing capacity was enough to handle an increase in the number of passengers. At the moment, JKIA has a capacity of 7.5 million following a renovation that was done in the last 2 years, which increased it to 2 terminals. But the airport is currently handling 6.5 million passengers annually. Rwanda has been seeking Category 1 status to enable it to fly directly to the US, and with this investment, it will increase its chances to get this approval. Now, with Qatar Airways in the mix, the Airways will use airport as its East African regional hub, where it can connect passengers to other destinations such as Europe and US without necessarily having to fly back to Doha, as is the case now. There are reports that Qatar Airways is keen on operating some of the flights from Kigali, a move that will save the carrier operational cost, given that it has to cover long distances to Doha following air blockage by 4 Middle East countries. The move will push regional carriers, including Kenya Airways, which might have to cut their prices to remain competitive in the market, considering that most of the Middle Eastern carriers such as Qatar are highly subsidized. Rwanda is not alone in these expansion ambitions. Other countries in the region have in the recent past been expanding the aviation sector. Ethiopia and Tanzania have been expanding their airports, whereas Kenya seems to have stopped further expansion following the cancellation of the Greenfield project. Uganda Airlines have also revamped its operation. So the East African aviation industry is busy. Competition is high, and with the new completion of the new project in Rwanda, which is expected to be the biggest airport once it's completed in 2032, the competition will get even higher. So thank you for watching this video. If it's your first time here, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, and for the returns viewers, I thank you for the support that you have accorded this channel. Thank you.